Oh, I'm a gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a yummy, tummy, funny, lucky gummy bear. I'm a jelly bear, 'cause I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a moving, grooving, jamming, singing gummy bear. Oh, yeah. Gummy, 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 gummy bear. Gummy, 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 gummy.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to the BNS channel. So today we are going to the groomers. Leo is in the passenger seat, and we are heading to get groomed. I'm not gonna get groomed. He's gonna get groomed. He needs it though because you can barely see his eyes. You remember when in the last video I told you that I was going to talk to you about Maxillofacial Surgery? Well, today's the day. Guess what? So back when I was 17, which seems like absolutely eons ago, I had to have jaw surgery. And maxillofacial surgery is nothing other than jaw surgery. Back then, now today, I'm assuming that that is something that happens like pulling teeth, that it's a regular event. There have been thousands of them that are done. But in my day, when I was 17, this was, and especially up here, where technology and medical advances was a little bit further behind than the rest of the world. It was a big deal. You know, it was something, it was a major surgery. It was 6 or 7 hours long. I forget, I think it was 6. And for a year prior to the surgery, I had braces for no other reason than to make sure, not that I actually had to have them, but to make sure that my teeth were aligned so that when I had my surgery, they would be able to use the braces to wire my jaws shut. And so then I had my braces for a year after the surgery as well. So basically what it was, and I'm driving, so I'm not going to be able to show you really well, but your jaw is supposed to have somewhat of an overbite. So they were supposed to be lined up like that. Well, mine was, the top jaw was shifted back, my bottom jaw had jutted forward, and it was off. So I didn't have a lot of teeth that were actually hitting each other. So when I would go to chew, it was very difficult, but it would also give me some really bad headaches. So medically, they decided that it was something that needed to be done because it could progressively have gotten worse and caused a lot of problems. So we had it done. And I'm telling you, and some of this, I should have prefaced this video that this video is going to be graphic in nature, and if you are not, if you have a weak stomach, maybe you should turn the channel, because I'm going to have some graphic explanations. So if you have a weak stomach, you might not want to listen to this. So basically, the way that it turned out, okay, and of course, when I was 17, I really didn't pay much attention to that. I was more involved in the fact that I was actually going to look completely different after the surgery, and that this was a whole cosmetic thing, because, you know, at 17 years old, that's what you're thinking about, right? So they had to detach all of the top of my jaw, okay, my top jaw, and you can actually see, excuse me while I close a reminder, you can actually see all the stitches, and I'm not going to show you because that might be a little too graphic, but you can see all the scarring all across the top of my jaw, above my teeth. And they had to cut the bottom jaw and detach it and remove some pieces from the bottom to be able to push it back and add pieces to the top in order to pull it forward. So that's how drastic my jaw alignment was. And then of course they straightened it out so that the teeth would hit each other. During that surgery, they also opened up my septum, opened up my nasal passages and shaved my sinuses, I guess. I am not even 100% sure what they did, to be honest with you. I just know that they made it easier for me to breathe because my nasal passages were so tiny. And here's the graphic part. Okay, so they do all of this. They put all the stitches. They wire my jaw shut by linking the top and bottom braces together with wire in order for my jaw not to move and to give it time to heal. Well, okay, if you are weak-stomached, do not listen to this part. Mute it. When I have surgeries and they put me under anesthesia, you know where I'm going with this, right? I have a tendency of coming out of anesthesia shaking without knowledge as to why I'm shaking. And a lot of times I'll be like, I don't know why I'm shaking. And I cry and I vomit. How do you vomit with your mouth wired shut and gauze stuck up inside of your nose and gauze stuck inside of your mouth? There is no place for it to go. But trust me when I say it finds every orifice in your head. I had vomit coming out of my ears, my nostrils, my eye ducts, the corners of my mouth. Yeah, I know, it's horrible. You can hear him whining. It was horrible. And to be very honest with you, it's not even so much the graphic part of it, but emotionally, I think I was scarred for life because I remember it like it was yesterday, and I felt like I was choking. I felt like I was drowning in my own vomit because there was no place for it to go. And it was horrifying. So not only was I shaking and crying and vomiting, but I felt like I was dying, literally. It was horrifying. You know, and I'm not sure if they do things differently nowadays. I'm just recounting my experience and how I remember it. And so I get home. I stayed in the hospital, I think, for maybe 4 or 5 days, just so that they could make sure I was okay and that everything was okay. Well, part of the wiring, when they wired my jaw shut, they had left an area on the side that was probably about that wide, just enough for a large straw to fit through, because that was how I was going to eat for the next 8 weeks. So I don't remember a lot of the stay in the hospital, but I do remember coming home. I do remember my boyfriend at the time coming to visit me and being in complete... You know what I do remember is I think it was 2 days after, is when they actually let me see myself. And I had been forewarned that there would be a lot of bruising. I mean, I got my jaw broken on purpose. That there'd be a lot of bruising and there'd be a lot of swelling. And so what I had anticipated myself to look like afterwards was probably not what I was going to see. And they were right. It was kind of a shock. I think they prepared me enough to know that when I did see myself in the mirror that I wasn't, it wasn't like, oh my God. Of course, and I didn't do that because I had to talk like this. So, you know, it was a shock. There was a lot of bruising, but it was mostly swelling. I mean, my face was huge. And it took 1 year, for all of the swelling to be gone. That's how intense this surgery was, or how brutal they were to my face during surgery. So I had to have my jaw wired shut for 8 weeks. I drank through a straw for 8 weeks, and I'm telling you, we found and concocted so many different things to put in a blender. It was amazing. My mother was insanely amazing during this whole process. And so there's a couple different memories that I have that I want to share. One, my favorite things, and I'm not sure if you know what boiled dinner is, but a New England boiled dinner is ham and potatoes and carrots and turnips and cabbage boiled and you eat it like that. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing. Well, my first meal that my mother wanted me to have was my favorite meal, right? Isn't that what mothers do? They cook your favorite meal. So she put all of that stuff in a blender, and she blended it up and made it like a puree, and it was absolutely amazing. Like, amazing. So, I mean, it wasn't like I was on this diet that I couldn't eat what I wanted. It was just that I couldn't eat it in the way that we normally would. So everything went in the blender, like everything. And salt and pepper, seasoned it up. It was delicious. I remember trying to do a peanut butter and marshmallow sandwich. And that didn't go over so well because we had to add water, and it made it extremely bland. The flavors were somewhat there, and I suppose when you're desperate and you want something, you're going to do that, and that's what I did. But I'm telling you, everything that I ate had to go through the blender, and it had to be pureed. It had to be enough to get through a straw without having to force through the straw so badly that it could pop stitches or, you know, yeah. I think I lost 25 pounds in that 8-week time frame just by eating everything through a blender. So, you know, I'm not sure why I haven't gone that route, since I know that it works to lose weight. And who knows? I might try it now that I've just refreshed my memory. I'm not sure if there's a, you know, my teeth might fall out of my head though if I'm not utilizing them, right? So who knows? But I remember one time, my mother is an avid vitamin taker, and she has been a vitamin taker all of her life. She knows exactly what each vitamin does for her, how she benefits from them, how they work with each other. She's really educated when it comes to vitamins and minerals. And so she truly believed that was, oh my goodness, he just ate through my entire plug. That little, sorry. Hold on. Leo, you're not supposed to eat cords. No, you're not supposed to eat cords and plugs. That's not good for you. You can get shocked. Okay. So my mother's an avid vitamin taker. So she felt that during this time that it was potentially possible that I would lack vitamins and minerals during this process, because my body would be utilizing them up more to try and heal me, which, you know what, I think is probably right. So, and I might add, I was a horrible vitamin taker. I could not swallow vitamins for nothing. They made me ill. So, the very beginning of this little journey of the 8 weeks, she felt that she needed to give me some vitamins. So she literally put full vitamins in the blender with my boiled dinner on an occasion, and proceeded to try and sneak that into my supper. Might I say it did not bode well. And Mom, if you're watching this, shame on you. I was so ill. And of course, what happens when I vomit and my mouth is wired shut? It was horrifying, and I couldn't believe that she had done that. I mean, once it started, it's just the scent of it, the flavor of it, it would just kill me. Oh, it was horrible. So, needless to say, that did not go over well. 2 weeks I stayed home, and then for the next 4 or 6 weeks, I went to school. I was at school. I was doing pretty much, not everything, because I had to be really careful that nobody hit me in the jaw or hit me in the, elbowed me or anything like that. So it was really important to stay protected while I was out and about. And so I went back to school. My boyfriend would pick me up at my class prior to the bell, so that I could actually be in the halls without the crowd of people, so that I didn't have the danger of being hit. And that went on. But I'll tell you, the first day I went back to school, not one, except for the people that had come to visit me, Not one person recognized who I was. And of course, I had to talk like this for 4 weeks, and I got to be a real pro at it, and it was very frustrating. But I got to be a real pro at making sure that my lips were accentuating the syllables that I was trying to make. But for the first couple weeks, I walked around with a notebook and a pencil, and I wrote pretty much everything that I needed to tell people. And I did get told that it was the quietest 6 weeks in the high school that they can remember. I'm wondering what that meant. Because Edie's mouth was wired shut. But I'm telling you, and then of course, you know, after the 8 weeks was over, I went and had my wires removed, and that was the first time I was able to actually move my jaw. So it was quite a exercise, and it did take some time for me to get back to a point where I could chew regular foods. Would I go through this experience again? Absolutely. And the reason is because I have had such success from it. I mean, my jaw became aligned. I could eat stuff. I had never eaten corn on the cob, or steak because I couldn't eat it. So I got to experience at the age of 18 for the very first time corn on the cob and steak and some other things that I can't remember, but those were two of the biggest things that I remember. You know, so there was so many advantages versus the disadvantages that I had to go through for that 8-week time frame that it was worth it. Now, because it was such a long time ago, it was a kind of, and I'm not sure how to say it, but like, we weren't sure what the cause and effect was going to be. I mean, we knew what the immediate effect was going to be, because it was going to benefit free for chewing and headaches and the stomach aches and all of that stuff. But we didn't know what it meant later. Like, I have right here and right here, if you look at my dental x-rays, I have 2 hooks that actually are holding my top jaw up, along with the stitches and along with the cartilage that got created over time. Well, I now have a big bump right here that we can only think that it's cartilage that grew around that hook and made a bump. I do have numbness in parts of my jaw from them obviously having to cut nerve endings to move stuff around. I just recently, when I went to the chiropractor the other day, I thought maybe it was a reaction. Remember I said I thought it was a reaction from, or a response from, the surgery. And it very well still could be, because my jaw is probably straining, or could be potentially straining, causing muscles to tighten faster, which means that I can't open my jaw as much as I used to. You know, but otherwise, I have not had big repercussions from it. I mean, as I've gotten older, I was concerned that, you know, different things would start happening, and knock on wood, nothing has really happened. I mean, the only significant thing that I've noticed is this bump that I have, and all my dentists have checked it, my doctors checked it, and they're not 100% sure what it is. I'm just going to chalk it up for, and it doesn't grow, it doesn't move, and it's, I mean, it's sensitive when I push on it, but it's not, it doesn't hurt. So they're thinking that it's either calcium buildup, which it could be, or some kind of cartilage that grew in that spot. So, but what an experience. I mean, this is a 19-minute video, and I apologize for it being so long, but I've never actually shared publicly what that full experience was like. And my son actually should have had this same surgery and didn't. I would definitely do it again. The doctor that did my surgery is no longer with us, so that shows you how long ago it was. He passed away, and the doctor that did my braces, his son is now a dentist, and that's where one of my sons got his braces from, but his father's passed away. So that was a long time ago, you guys, and I'm just really blessed that it has not gone for the worst. I actually do notice that I have a droop in my lips, but I'm not sure if that's from it. Could be. But if that's all that I have, I'm pretty good. And it could be definitely muscle tone, because if muscles were detached and reattached, they might not have, done what they were supposed to. So if you ever look at pictures, I do have one side of my mouth that droops. Or even when I'm talking, that it's kind of slanted. And I might notice it, you might not, who knows. But yeah. So I wanted to share that experience with you guys. I hope you didn't get grossed out or anything. If you've had maxillofacial surgery or the same surgery that I've had, I would love to hear from you. So definitely, comment below or send me a private message, whatever you're comfortable with, and let me know. Okay? I'll see you guys all on the next video. Have an amazing day. Go make it an amazing day for somebody else. Bye.
She's